Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get this meeting started, and if you will, please let us all stand for a moment of prayer. Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we are grateful, Lord, you have granted us another beautiful day. Be with us today as we go through this meeting. Be with each and every one of us, Lord, as we try to make the best decisions for this county that we can. Guide and direct us the path you would have us to go, and keep us straight and narrow. In your heavenly sweet name we pray. Amen. And Dr. Keller, if you will, please do the pledge of allegiance for us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we do have a few amendments to the agenda. We're going to, I'm going to request that on item 4, on the amendments to the agenda, add item C under action items. That's the Pickens County Hazard Mitigation Plan for 2017 and 2022. And the other one is we need to add item D under action items also. It's a resolution for the approval of Todd Payne for Pickens County Industrial Authority. Is there anything else you got? Pardon? And then we'll be going, be item E, I think it's E. Item E will be going into executive session. I'd like to make the move that we accept those 3 items as amendments to the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Have a move and a second. Any further discussion? None being all that in favor, let the number saying aye.
Aye.
Number, thank you. All right. Do I need? Do I still need to do this? Okay. That brings us down to item 5. We need to approve the agenda for tonight. I need to move and second for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Move and second. Any further discussion? None being all in favor, number saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. All right, that brings us down to item number 6 on the employee recognition. We have a employee that was Neil Simmons, 10 years, and I don't think he's here. Yeah, he's Cherokee now. So we will put that off till next time when Miss Denny can do that on the employee recognition. All right, item number 7. Item number 7, we got a consent agenda. Is there anything on the consent agenda this time? Nothing on the consent agenda. All right. Item number 8, old business. Do we have any old business?
There is none.
No old business. Thank you. All right. That brings us under item number 9, new business. The LMIG for 2019. The road department, Mr. Nicholson, has put together the 2019 LMIG proposal. Granted, this is just a proposal. And we have got a series of roads on here. Road Department and Mr. Nicholson would like to request the commissioners to review this, and if there's any changes or additions to this, to look at it over the next 30 days to see if you've got, and then get back with them, and because we have got to get it turned in by when, Johnny?
October 1st.
October 1st. What he's got listed right here, with the prices that we have now, is this the update prices of the
It's
increase?
update prices. They went up Monday $3.40 a ton. That's the most current price I got.
All right. As of right now, what roads he's got listed here is $2,083,467 if we go with the roads that we've got
That's
here.
just the cost of material.
That's just the cost of materials. That is not labor and equipment and moving the equipment and setup. That's cost of materials only. So
It's gone up 4 times since January.
that 4 increases since January. All right. So, that being said, I would request the road department and Johnny, special projects manager and all, would like to make a request for us to review this information for the next meeting and maybe the work session. And if we have any discussion we can have during the work session, if we have any changes or additions to this. Ms. Harvey, can you, on top of this also, can you, by the time in 2 weeks we have a work session, can you give us a review on what's the outlook on the collections? Yeah,
I can.
at that time, and that way we'll know exactly how we need to proceed with this. Mr. Dixon, do we know how much at this time the LMIG is going to be?
LMIG only increased by $12,000, so it's $577,000 and change.
All right. Ouch. So then you're looking at probably 1.5 that'll have to come out of the SPOS funds to,
The bidded out contract, I expected it would be more like 1.8 or 9,
yeah, time we get there and have any more.
if it doesn't go up anymore,
Yeah,
which that's out of our control, but.
yeah. All right. Y'all have any questions for him before we go forward? Ms. Becky?
No, we'll study it.
Okay, all right. That was item 9 under new business. That brings us down to item number 10 under finance report. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Harvey.
Okay, the finance report that y'all have is for the month ending, or the period ending June 30th, and that is 6 months of our fiscal year 2018, and the expenditure budget should be 50% or less. On the revenue side, the general fund revenue collections are $6,547,123, and that's 25.14% of the revenue budget. On the expenditures for general government, the total expenditures through that period is $1,564,837, and that's 40.38%. For the judicial functions, the expenditures are $1,443,544, and that's 41.97%. For the public safety, expenditures are $6,324,993, and that's 47.54%. Okay, and then we go to public works. So the total public works expenditures are $1,402,328. That's 46.91%. For the health department, the senior center and MATS program, $288,211, and that's 35.65%. For culture and recreation, the expenditures are $425,967, and that's 43.84%. For housing and development, the expenditures are $296,999, and that's 45.07%. So the overall general fund expenditures are at $11,746,879, and that's 45.1%, which is almost 5% under budget. For the water department, the expenditures are $982,269. That's 45.82%. For the airport, $167,717, and that is 38.08%. The line item budgets and the budget reports were distributed to the department heads and the elected officials on July the 11th, and I have those line item numbers if you need to see them. I also have a request for a budget amendment tonight, and it's simply budgeting some revenues that we've gotten for reimbursement for damaged property, and it's budgeting that amount on the revenue budgets and also on the expenditure budget for repairs. It's for the sheriff's revenue and expenditure budget would increase by $3,295. The fire operations budget increases by $20,220, and the road department increase is $12,345.
Could you explain to Mr. Barnes and Ms. Penny what those increases are and how they happen?
Okay, the money is not budgeted because you can't predict when you're going to have accident in insurance claims and accident payments. So this is revenue from insurance claims that we had to pay for damaged vehicles, that kind of thing. I believe it is all for vehicles. One of them, the fire operations, The accident actually happened, I think, in 2017, but we didn't receive the revenue until 2018.
That was the C.W. Matthews.
That was the fire truck.
Any further questions from Ms. Harvey?
Good job.
Thank you, Ms. Fay. All right. That moves us down to item number 11 under action items. We need to approve the minutes from the regular board meeting on June 21st, 2018. Those minutes were sent to you earlier. Any deletions or additions? I didn't see any corrections that need to be made. And, so I need to, if y'all are fine with it, I need to move in second to approve.
Second.
Moving to second, any further request? None being, all in favor, number saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. All right, that brings us down to rezone hearings. We had a rezone request, Planning and Development, and the Planning and Development Committee had a zone request for SUS 518-1238 Bent Tree Lodge and Vineyard, 673 Long Swamp Church Road. You've had the information, the vote. After reviewing the application, receiving the staff report recommending that a condition be placed on the property and listening to testimony from the applicant and members of the public, the Pickens County Planning Commission voted to recommend the approval by a vote of 3 yes and 1 no for the conditional use request of the 15-acre parcel contained on the tax map 044A-002. This is also on video, and we have got the minutes to those meetings. I have reviewed them. Richard, is there anything you want to add to this as we go forward? All right. What is y'all's the planning commission voted to approve on the Long Swamp? Go ahead.
Who was the one no? Did he give any reasoning?
The one no was Harold Hensley, if my memory serves me correctly on particulars. What was his reasoning for voting no? Was it the traffic concern, or what was his issue?
Yes, sir.
There was traffic going along Swamp Road. Is there any items? I don't recall any. I think they wanted to come in and try to make Penley Circle all one way, to where they'd have to come in on Long Swamp Road and go out Penley Circle. I don't know if that's appropriate or not at that point.
Is it conditional, this vote conditional on us doing anything like that?
Richard?
Thank you, Ms. Denny. The applicants now have a written letter of intent agreement. This is not a legal agreement. The details are being worked out, but they have an initial letter of intent from Angels on Horseback authorizing them at this time, dependent on the finalization of the legal agreement, so that there will be access. In other words, when there are events at the Long Swamp Church Road entrance, it would be one way in, and then through the Angels on Horseback property, out through Penley Circle, it would be one way out.
Thank you, Richard.
That's what I think that's anyway. It's the applicant's stated intent for such for this request is for like hosting small special events such as bridal or baby showers, small dinner parties for local organizations, catered dinner and lunch parties themed around the holidays, small fundraising events for organizations such as silent auctions or barbecues, and small outdoor weddings with no more than 100 guests. Now, have you or the sheriff's department, anybody that looked at the traffic issue on along Swamp Road and Penley Circle to the fact of making it one way for just this particular reason?
What I did before the planning commission meeting is ask for comments from anybody related to public safety and, you know, whether it was traffic, noise, ambulance, sheriff, fire, anything like that, over and above the criteria that you see in your packet. And you've got the answers from the applicant, you've got the information from the planning commission, and there were no additional comments specific to ambulances getting in and out, or the sheriff's department, or other fire department, or, you know, EMA or something.
So you have got the distance, so you check the distance from the church is over 1,000 feet. The, you're looking at 10 o'clock closing time. I reviewed the notes. It's been a week ago when I read them. Y'all got any other questions on that? Voting into this, if we was to vote on this and approve it as it is written for the one way, I don't want that to be part of a proposal that we have to make a road a one way just to facilitate a business.
Right, the planning commission recommended approval with no conditions. You know, it was just my staff report of one condition that all activities end at 10 o'clock or earlier. That's consistent with other special events, venues. You know, but I mean, there don't necessarily have to be any conditions.
Right. Pardon? Yeah, so they're not requiring, he's not requiring or they're not requiring? Yeah, you're not requiring this to be a one-way street, and they haven't, but they have suggested that, or how did they get in here?
Their goal is to do that, but they're, but the planning, the plan zoning office has said they're fine with the conditional use without them having the ability to do it.
Okay.
Because
All
their
right.
ability to do it one way would be predicated on their acquisition of that easement from the Pickens property.
All right.
Did you have something?
Can we comment at this point?
Is it
Not
regarding
to
this?
give evidence.
You can't give evidence, no.
We're the owners of the Long Swamp Church property,
Yeah.
and there's a little misunderstanding. What we're talking about is the one-way in on our drive. One way in from Long Swamp Church, one way out to Penley Circle. We're not adjusting the traffic on the road. It's our driveway.
Okay,
It's our driveway.
Okay.
Because it's a one-way driveway.
okay,
Yes.
So we needed an easement off the property.
Okay.
So guests would come in Long Swamp Church and
Okay.
exit to Penley Circle.
that clears up, thank you.
And we would be putting signage to direct them to the paved part of Long Swamp Church Road,
Okay,
if that makes sense. You know that area. I'm sorry, I don't want to speak out of turn, but that was a misunderstanding. We're not trying to change the traffic pattern at all.
Good.
okay, thank you, okay. All right, any other further questions on this?
I did not, have not reviewed the video yet. Did they have any neighboring people that came in to the meeting, Richard, and were there any opposing comments or anything?
There was one in favor who is a Bentry resident. There was one against who is a property owner on Cove Road. I know that particular lady. She lives in Cherokee County, but she owns property on Cove Road near the four-way intersection and uses that as her workshop. She's a children's book author. And she was just concerned about the fact that, I mean, there's traffic already on Cove Road. She was saying, you know, what would potentially this do to Cove Road? That was her main concern.
But other than that, that was the only two that said, because when I looked at it, I didn't, okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Very much. I need to What is y'all's pleasure with that particular to approve or disapprove? All right, I have one move to approve. Can I get a second?
Second.
I've moved a second to approve. Any further discussion? None being all that favor, let it know by saying aye.
Yeah.
None opposed, thank you. It has been approved. All right, the next one was a Sarah Postlewaite at 1290 Philadelphia Road for conditional use also. Also another wedding venue. Same thing, applicant stated intent for such request is for hosting small festival events, small dinner parties, local organizations, cater dinner, lunch parties, themed around holidays, small fundraising events for organizations such as silent auction, barbecue, small outdoor weddings, and no more. Seeing this, I think the church, Philadelphia church, had a pretty good contingency of individuals that come out and spoke against it. Then the church had quite a few members to speak against it also. And then, of course, they voted, after reviewing the application, receiving staff reports, recommended that the condition be placed on the property and listening to the testimony from the applicant and members of the public. The Pickens County Planning Commission voted to recommend to deny by a vote of 4 yes and 0 no for the conditional use request of the 27.42 acres. So that has been denied to Philadelphia Church.
I read this, wasn't it that it's, how far is it from the church exactly?
I didn't drive out there, I did read it.
Right, so both driving and walking with a measuring wheel, it's right at 1,000 feet from the barn where events would be held to the back property line. I didn't measure from the back of the actual church building to the barn, but the way our alcohol ordinance reads, it's got to be at least 600 feet from the door of the structure where alcohol is served or sold to the nearest property line of a church or school or something like that. And it was over 600 feet, but with a pasture setting and not a whole lot of trees. I mean, from the back of the church, you can see the barn. That was one of the concerns mentioned by the church folks.
And this one, like I said earlier, they have denied the request.
Where exactly, Richard, if you're facing the church, are you talking the barn, the building would be left on the left side?
Left-hand side.
Okay. How large is this barn approximately?
So the barn itself is not very large. What the applicant proposes is right beside the existing barn to build another barn, at least that size or probably bigger, with you know, all the code compliant bathrooms and things like that. And so that's how that is. Yes, ma'am.
I need to y'all's pleasure, what is your recommendation on stay with the consensus of the planning commission for denial? Yes. All right, I have a move and a second for the denial application. Any further discussion? None being all in favor of saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. That one has been denied. All right, that brings us down to item C, Pickens County Hazard Mitigation Plan Update for 2017 and 2022. All right, whereas Pickens County and its municipalities recognize that it is threatened by a number of different types of natural and man-made hazards that can result in the loss of life, property loss, economic hardship, and threats to the public and health and safety, and whereas the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, has required that every county and municipality have a pre-disaster mitigation plan in place, and requires the adoption of such plans in order to receive funding from the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. And whereas a hazard mitigation plan is a community plan for evaluating hazards, identifying resources and capabilities, selecting appropriate actions, and developing and implementing the preferred mitigation actions to eliminate or reduce the future damage in order to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents in the community. And whereas the Pickens County Hazard Mitigation Plan update of 2017 through 2022 has been prepared in accordance with the FEMA requirements at FFC FR 201.6, and whereas the plan will be updated every 5 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Pickens County, Georgia, and the mayor and councils of the city of Jasper, city of Nelson, and the city of town, and the and the town of Talking Rock. Each meeting is respective session that 1. Pickens County, Georgia, the city of Jasper, the city of Nelson, and the town of Talking Rock have adopted the Pickens County Hazard Mitigation Plan for 2017 through 2022. And number 2, it is intended that the plan be a working document, and that it is the first of many steps towards improving rational, long-range mitigation planning and budgeting for Pickens County and its municipalities. I need a move and a second to approve this mitigation plan. John, Mr. Nixon, you got anything to add to this as we go forward?
No, only if you got questions.
And the cities, and of course you say the cities are involved on this.
They're involved in it, and they have to do the same thing you're doing.
Okay. All right, I need a move and a second to approve this.
Second.
Have a move and a second. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, know by saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. You got, Johnny, you got to, Mr. Nixon, you got to turn this into FEMA tomorrow? Or
No.
when you, okay.
When
All right.
Katie comes up to see the city of Jasper and all that, I'll be handling it.
Okay, all right. And we're down to item D, resolution to approve Todd Payne, Pickens County Industrial Development Authority. The resolution appointing member to the Industrial Development Authority of Pickens County. Mr. Bob Payne, that's been on the board for many years, has requested to come off the board. Him and his wife want to travel. He has spent many years on the board. Mr. Todd Payne, that is now the CEO of Amacola Electric, which is a 3 or 4 county entity, has agreed to serve in that position as we go forward. So that being said, have y'all got any?
Second.
Have a move and a second to appoint Todd Payne to that position. Now, what he'll be doing will be filling the rest of the term of Bob Payne, and then which will end. See, Bob Payne has tendered his resignation effective June 31st, 2018. Bob's is appointed to complete the 6-year term, which will end in September 8 of 2023. So that being said, so I move in a second. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, let me saying aye.
Aye.
None opposed, thank you. All right, that brings us down to item E, which is, where's my executive committee? All right, we need to move a second to go into executive session. Number 1, to discuss or vote to authorize negotiations to purchase, dispose of, I'm sorry. Well, we can. That way we can, because it's going to take us some time to go through this. I tell you, with the board's approval, I want to make a request that we go into guests and comments before we go into executive session. Some might not want to sit here for an hour waiting us to come back. And there will not be a vote in regard to this when they come back. This will be
No representation made as to any action or not, or no action after executive session. We will have action regarding the approval of the executive session minutes when we come back in. But there is none on the agenda.
All right. That being said, if with permission from the board here, I'm gonna go ahead and go into item number 12 under guests and comments. Would anybody have any Comments? Yes, sir.
I would like to make a comment on the Bent Tree Lodge and Vineyard. I know where 673 Long Swamp Church Road is. I also know where Bent Tree Community is located. My concern over the names, and we've been into this in government quite a bit, if something's happening at this area and someone gets on a cell phone, where are you at? I'm in Bent Tree. I think emergency services are gonna have a tough time distinguishing between the two, and it's a pretty hard pull to get up to the gate and figure out you're at the wrong place. So that's the only observation I've got. I have no use with them doing what they're doing, but I can see a lot of conflicts as far as public services, people using GPSs. As you see tractor trailers traveling places with names for information, that would be the only observation or concern and suggestion that I've got, that maybe a more unique name before we print any napkins or anything might work better for everybody. Just an observation.
That's true. That is true. And I think that come up in the planning and commission hearing that night. Did our question come up to me from somebody? I heard it on the thing. But Bent Tree was well represented. I mean, the general manager was there from Bent Tree. Wasn't that boy there? Tom Fowler. Tom Fowler was there.
Y'all can't predicate it. I mean, I
No.
really was not saying.
No, we can't change.
No.
All right. Any further comments? Well, that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going, I need to move in a second. Let me read this right here real quick. Executive session to discuss or vote to authorize negotiations to purchase, dispose of, or lease property, authorize ordering and appraisal related to the acquisition or disposal of real estate, enter into a contract to purchase, dispose of, or lease property subject to the approval in a subsequent public vote, or enter into an option to purchase, dispose of, or lease real estate subject to the approval in a subsequent public vote. OCGA 5014-3B1. And number 2, to consult and meet with legal counsel pertaining to pending or potential litigation, settlement claims, administrative proceedings, or other judicial actions brought or to be brought by or against the county or an officer or employee, or in which the officer or employee may be directly involved. That is OCGA 5014-21. This 19th day of July 2018. He moved second to go into executive session.
Second.
Have a move and second to go into executive session. Any further discussion? None being, all in favor, let us know by saying aye. Aye. None opposed, thank you. We are going into executive session.